Preparing for retirement is a daunting task, and many of you are coming close to retirement and you really do fear entering into retirement, the unknown, what you do, where does your income come from? It's the biggest trigger point in your lifetime, and the benefit is moving into retirement, there's a lot of benefits to it. So I want to highlight some of the struggles you're going to face, how to fight through them, and also some of the benefits and how to take advantage of them as you enter into retirement. As you get closer to retirement, the first step to prepare for retirement is to assess your current situation. So you want to see, like, where are you? How much have you saved? Summarize your assets, summarize your liabilities. What is your net worth? Where are you sitting? A lot of you haven't done this. What's your budget? I know doing a budget is never fun. And a lot of you, as you get closer to retirement or as we get older, we do less work around a budget. But as you get close to retirement, you want to have a general idea about how much you're currently spending and maybe how much of that budget isn't going to flow through into retirement because it's just not something. It might be, commuting and all the gas and that kind of stuff isn't going to be with you in retirement. So assess your current situation will be the very first step you need to take. As you assess your current situation, if you feel like, I think I'm getting close, I'm on the right track, I need to make a few adjustments, that might be the time to do a retirement plan. So sit down with your financial planner or hire a planner to put together a retirement plan. So, assessing your situation is going to give you a broad idea, but having a clear path is going to really define what you're looking to do. Again, you want to take it from a 30,000 foot view down to like a 5-foot view. And this is really where working with a financial planner should give you that view. And if it's not, find a different planner, because that plan should tell you how much income, where it comes from, government benefits, when to take them, how much tax you're going to pay, your average tax rate. There's a big checklist that you should be going through in every single plan. So again, if you're getting close to retirement, you start assessing your situation, work alongside a financial planner to make sure that you are on track and doing everything to the best you can. The second step is to sit down and write out some retirement goals. So if you're married or common law, do this with your partner, but write out, like, what do you want to accomplish in retirement? Make that bucket list. Maybe you've had it for many years and it's like, Adam, this is the time. Like, I've had this my whole life. I'm ready to go. Many of you don't. Sit down. What's going to be important to you? What do you want to accomplish? It might be travel. It might be, talked to someone the other day and it was, we want to buy a lake property and eventually build our retirement home on there. It might be buying an RV and traveling across the country. Everyone's got a different bucket list. But write down that bucket list so that when you build your financial retirement plan, there's something to work towards, right? And I always say, and I'll get to this one eventually, but we want to retire to something. And part of that is your retirement list. So take a step back and think, if I didn't have to go to work tomorrow, next week, for the next year, what are some of the things I want to do, want to accomplish? Again, it might be travel, that kind of stuff. It also might be vocation or a hobby or something new that you want to pick up. The third step is to educate yourself. Understand what retirement is, how it works, how government benefits work. Again, if you're watching this channel, hopefully you have a better understanding than you did the day before. And that's what this channel is all about, is educating you on retirement, tax, estate planning, things you need to know that you probably didn't learn for the last 30, 40, 50, 60 years of your life. And so really educate yourself. There's a lot of good content on YouTube. Go through our channels. There's other channels as well. There's content online. Talk to other people. Again, be wary of who you're watching or where you're getting your information from. There's a lot of information out there from people that aren't educated themselves in this field. It's more of an opinion. And so again, are you listening to a CFP or a CFA on the investment side? Someone that's actually educated and does this for a living. That's where I would start and continue to work through. But educate yourself so that as you go through this retirement process, you have a really good, clear understanding of why you're doing things, right? Instead of just being told, here's what you need to do, you actually understand why you're doing it. And that's part of the education process. The fourth step is to figure out what your expenses will be in retirement. It goes back to that budget. You want to know what your set costs are. And then above that is going to be kind of free spending. Now, when we build a retirement plan for our clients, we build it from both ends of the spectrum. And what I mean by that is, from one side, we're saying, okay, how much do you need in retirement to kind of do the things you want to do? From the other side, it's based on all the assets and what you've built up, here's how much you could have based on some assumptions. So let's say you said, Adam, I need $3,000 a month, and you could have $5,000. Okay, well, do you want to spend more? Do you want to kind of meet in the middle? And if you do, like, what's the other, say, $1,000 left? What are we doing with it? Is it a tax play, cash flow, estate plan? There's a lot of pieces that start moving in there. So understand what your base amount is, understand ideally what you'd like to have, and then figure out what you're able to afford within your plan. And all this has to come together in a clear tax and cash flow plan for you through retirement. The fifth step is to set things up for proper tax planning, income splitting, and all of that. So again, depending on what types of accounts you have, when you plan to retire, all of these things will play into the overall tax plan that you're looking to do. Again, I just had a phone call today with a prospective client looking to retire. The wife retired, she's 60, he's 58, still needs to retire, he's gonna work a little bit longer, but most assets were in his name. And so we had the conversation around like, what would a plan ideally look like? And again, it's probably draw down her accounts over the next X amount of years, wipe those down. But again, he's only 54, so he's got a long time to 65 when he can income split with her. So while he's still working, we're gonna build up some spousal RSPs. So there's a lot of tax planning in play. And that's why I always say it's nice to have a proper retirement plan, 3, 5, even up to 10 years before retirement, to give you that runway, to make any adjustments you need to make to put yourself in the best position for retirement. And so as you build up to retirement, make sure your accounts are built properly. You have the right types of accounts. And again, it's all gonna depend on where the money sits, what type of account it sits in, your age. There's a lot of factors that play into it. So again, if you're 5 to 10 years from retirement, get a plan in place. It's not too early. If you're really bumping up against retirement, make sure you sit down with your planner and understand, am I set up correctly? What are the best kind of maneuvers I can do to make sure that I'm taking advantage of every tax position I'm able to take advantage of? The sixth step to prepare for retirement is really around the mental game. So let's put aside all the financial piece, and this is the mental game. And honestly, this is probably 90% of what most of you will struggle with. Once you figured out financially you're okay, entering into retirement is a very tough mental game, right? You go from busy, you might have a high executive job where you get fulfilled and people report to you, and it's, you get a lot of fulfillment through work. Now, some of you not at all, but a lot of you do. That's where your social gathering is, all of that. You're now you're at home with the cat all day, or with your spouse, or whoever it is that's sitting at home with you. And it's a big shift. And so for a lot of you, you're gonna wanna walk through and talk through this process. Going cold turkey retirement may not be a good solution for you. It may crumble you, psychologically, mentally, all of that. So don't do that to yourself. You might want to go into part-time, see if you can transition in. Maybe you do retire, but you go to more of a consulting gig, maybe with the same company you're working for, maybe in the same industry, maybe it's something totally different. Again, talk through that mental position, because maybe you can even take a bit of a sabbatical, get used to not working for 2, 3, 4, 6 months. What does that look like for you? What's keeping you busy? So again, the mental side of retirement is such a big piece of it. So step one is really look after your financial affairs, get that in order. But once that's done, have a team around you that can help you implement it, that you trust, that you work with, but then really work on the mental side of it. And again, lean on your spouse or common law partner for that. If you don't have that, lean on some other coworkers, people that have gone through this process. You're not the first person to retire in your circle. I promise you that. There's someone around you that's retired. How did they do it? What worked? What didn't work? Talk to these people, figure out what worked for them. It may not work for you, but at least get different ideas and different thought processes, and it will really help you walk through and into retirement. The seventh and final tip I have for you for entering retirement would be have something to retire to. Don't retire from something, retire to something. And I've done a full video on this, but I can't stress it enough. For those of you that retire to something, it could be another part-time job, a vocation, could be family, could be friends, something you're retiring to. If you just retire and then say, you know what, Adam, I don't know what I'm doing now, but at least I'm not going to work, you're going to be challenged with the mental side of retirement. It's going to be very tough for you. So if you have something to retire to, again, maybe it's moving to part-time work. That's what you're kind of shifting to, it's a part-time work. Or maybe it's a new hobby, or it's family or grandkids or whatever it is. Everyone's got something different. But I really do encourage you, if you want a better kind of step into retirement, it's going to be stepping into something versus stepping away from something. So again, take those 7 tips with you. Make sure you have a clear retirement plan, tax plan, all of that. So you walk in, once that's structured, really look after the mental, psychological, emotional side of retirement. You may have been doing what you're doing for 30, 40 years. And walking away from that, that's a big transition. So make sure you know what that looks like, what you're retiring to, and that will really help you in your next phase of life.